anytime this stock hit this level, it bounces off. Hello, welcome back to Ben Talks Money. In this weekly episode of Stocks to Trade this week, we will take a look at 6 stocks that we can trade, both long and short this week. I will take a look at the daily chart to see where we can get in, and also look at the possible events that can move the stock market one direction or the other. So let's get started. The first stock that we will take a look at is SoFi. So let's take a look at the SoFi, the daily chart for SoFi. And if you look at it, SoFi has been very bullish. It's been extremely bullish so far. It did a double top here at the 2660 level. It failed. And every time it fails, you can see buyers come in and buy it back. Even Friday, the stock went all the way down to about 4.5% down. And by the close of the day, the stock was positive. You can see from the hammer candle here. See this? On Friday close, it's a huge hammer candle. It tells you that the stock is still bullish. People are looking at it and they are still willing to buy. So SoFi, the play for the week for SoFi is to give it time. Let's see if it holds above 26. Hold above 26. The next target will be here, because I think SoFi is going to break the top here at 26.60. So let's see if SoFi holds $26 and then a break over 26.60 with volume. It's long. And then the next resistance for SoFi will be here, $28, which will be all-time high. So that's the play for SoFi. Hold above 26.60, the next resistance level. When it breaks down this resistance, we are heading to all-time high around $28. So the next stock that we take a look at is AMD. AMD, people call it advanced money destroyer. But AMD, you can see from the daily chart that this stock went all the way from $84 straight up to about 185. And then since then, it formed this, you can see this right here. It's forming a downward channel on the daily chart, right? And every time it hits the upper or the bottom of the channel, it bounces back. It's been trading within that channel for the past couple of weeks. And I don't see anything changing when it comes to AMD, because the news around the semiconductor stocks, they are not that good, with the exception of Broadcom and, Micron. AMD, Nvidia, we'll take a look at Nvidia shortly. But AMD, the play for AMD is a break of 150. If AMD breaks below 150, it's a short. AMD, to me, is a short. It tried to hold the 50-day SMA. It couldn't hold it. That's around 161. But if it's able to go above 161, hold the 50-day SMA, we might try and take a long position on AMD. But for now, looking at this daily chart, AMD is a short if it breaks below 150. It tried this on Friday. It came about a little bit above it. It closed above the 150. And you can see that that is a huge zone. That's a huge support zone on the 150 on the daily chart. If you look at here, right here, this place, and recently here, and then on Friday, this zone also. So AMD, a break below 150 is a short. If it holds above 161, above the 50-day SMA, we'll take a look at it on the long side. The next stock that we'll take a look at is Nvidia. Nvidia and AMD, they are like big brother and big brother and little brother. So let's take a look at AMD's big brother, Nvidia. Nvidia is beginning to form an inverted U shape. If you can see right here on the chart, the daily chart is beginning to form an inverted U shape. And usually on a swing trade, when I'm doing a swing trade, I look for U shape especially for stocks, beating down stocks that are starting to curl back up. You look for a U shape and then you take it long. But Nvidia is beginning to form an inverted U shape. So the play for Nvidia is also on the short side, just like little brother AMD. Nvidia this week, 3 times it tried to hold above the 50-day SMA. That's the red line here. It couldn't. Right now, the 50 SMA is around 172. So it's well below it. It's well below it, about $5 below. So the play for Nvidia, you can see the trend here. If it breaks below this right here, around 165, if Nvidia breaks below 165, it's a short. On the other hand, if it's able to hold above 172, that we can take a look at it on the long side. But I don't see how, unless there's some news coming up this week that we don't know of, AMD and Nvidia, they are definitely short, because it's also September. September are usually down. It's usually a down month. So Nvidia, AMD, both on the short side. And the next stock that we take a look at is Palantir. Palantir is a stock that when the market is when it's going, it goes. When it's going down, it goes down. When it's going up, it goes up. All the way from the top here, the highs of about 190, it's been falling, and it's acting a little bit. It's consolidating a little bit around this area. If you can see here on the chart, for almost about couple of almost 2 weeks now, it's trying to hold the 50-day SMA. It's hovering around it. Every time it breaks it, it gets bought up. Every time it breaks it, it gets bought up. You can see Friday on a huge volume on here. You can see here on the volume. It broke below it and came close above it. Right now the 50-day SMA is around 156, and Palantir right now is around 153. So it's still below the 50-day SMA, but it's in the zone. You have to know that these things are all zones. It's not definite numbers. 153, 156, they are it's still around the zone, and you can see that it's consolidating. So the play for Palantir is if it breaks this right here, if Palantir breaks below 140, it's a short. And on the other hand, if it's able to break above 162, because you can see here the top of the consolidation is around 162. So 140 short, 162 long. That's the play on Palantir. The next one that we'll take a look at is let's take a look at Alibaba. So the thing with Alibaba and all these Chinese ADRs is that you wouldn't really know what's coming, right? Because something happens in China, the news hit in China first, trades on Hong Kong, and before you wake up, the movie is already done. That's the thing with all these Chinese ADRs. But Baba looks bullish ever since the news came in that they are developing chips, AI chips for the Chinese market. That's one of the reasons why Nvidia and Palantir, they are having a downward pressure because of the news of Alibaba producing their own AI chips, right? So the deal for the play for Baba is, to me, is long, right? I'm not looking to short Baba because the stock is really bullish. You don't want to catch go against the market. You trade the market that you are in, not the market that you want to be in. The Baba is bullish. So the play for Baba is if it holds above 135, we go long. This stock has a lot of room to go on the daily chart. If it's able to hold above 150, about 140, if it breaks and hold above 140, this stock has a lot of room to go. So the play for Baba is break and hold 140, and we are going long. We also have to check the volume profile and any news coming from China. That's the thing with Baba. It's a little bit of a risk there because it's a Chinese ADR. The last stock that we'll take a look at is CRM, Salesforce. This stock is the worst performing stock on the S&P this year. It's the worst performing stock on the S&P this year. But the company itself is doing okay. It's not that bad as the stock looks. Just that, there is this notion that AI is taken away from the software companies. So if you look at the stocks in this sector, the CRM sector, they are mostly down. Haspart is one of them. They are all down. Not that the company is not doing well, but there's a perception about this particular sector. But I do like Salesforce. This stock was trading around $400 and something a year ago, and right now it's $250 now. They came up with their earnings late last week. It wasn't all that. They actually beat the numbers, but their forecast wasn't all that good. But you can see that on that day that they announced their earnings, the stock dropped from it was around the 50-day SMA right here. You can see it right here, and then it dropped all the way down to 238, around 235, 238. But as soon as it hit that level, because you can see the line here that this is a strong support. It's a strong support zone around 235. It's a strong support zone for this stock. So as soon as it hit that spot, you can see from here, the support here, there's a support here, there's a support here, and right here. So it's a strong support zone. It goes all the way down here, all the way back into 2020, 2021. So anytime this stock hit this level, it bounces off. And last week wasn't an exception. As soon as it hit that level, buyers came in and took this stock up. Right now, it's trading around 250. So the goal is that this stock, you can go both sides, but I think if you look at the chart, it has more room on the upside than the downside, right? So the downside you'll be hitting that support zone around 235. But on the upside, if this stocks hold up above 250, the next support zone, the next resistance zone will be the 50-day SMA, which is around 256. So it's very close. So what I will do is that wait and see if this stock can break and hold above 256, 260 zone. Okay. So if it's able to hold around 260, this, I wouldn't do a day trade on this because usually it doesn't trade with a lot of volume, but a swing trade on this above 260, and you'll be good to go. You can look at here 260. After 260, the next level will be around here. This will be the next zone around 280. So from 260 to 280, you have 20 points in there, which is good for a $200 stock if you're doing it on a swing trade. All right. So what can change the course of the direction of the stock market this week? There are a few events that are coming up this week that can affect the direction of the stock market this week. One of them is the inflation data. There's an inflation data, the PPI, the producer price index, which is coming up on Wednesday. So that, depending on how the market is, because right now inflation has become a double-edged sword for the stock market. On the other hand, it's good when it goes down. On the other hand, they don't want it to go down because now the Feds have kind of shifted the attention to the job market. So a rate cut is something that is in the pipeline later in the middle of this month, couple of weeks to come. I think it's next week. So PPI can change the course of your trading this week. And also there's a CPI, there's a producer price index, that's a PPI, and there's a consumer price index, that's the CPI. The CPI data comes in on Thursday. So there's inflation data coming on Wednesday. There's another one coming in on Thursday. So those two can affect the direction of the market. And also there are some Fed governors who are expected to speak during the week. They usually sway the market, but not that much. The major news will be the CPI and the PPI. Okay, so that's it for the watch list for this week, the stocks that we are looking at and trading this week. And if you want me to analyze any stock for you, leave it in the comment section below. If you like this video, be part of the Talking Money channel, subscribe to the channel, share, like, tell a friend to tell a friend. And until next time, let's keep talking money.